Basically, what they're doing is they're putting a little more shine on the turd.
Yeah.
Jimmy's polishing the turd. He's using his reputation
Yes.
to polish the turd. Dr. Oz is allowing his reputation and his equity he's built in his show to polish the turd. He is a turd. An orange one, but he's a turd. And for whatever reason, they feel like they're going to get something out of it, too.
They get ratings out of it.
And that's more important than the possibility of that
Being
talking
president of the
yam
United States.
being president.
Leave your imaginary friend at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome, Carl. Mike. I'm Carl.
I'm what's left of me.
What's left of Mike? Mike has been battered down.
Oh, the
and
fucking
bruised.
carny's worn me down, man. I cannot.
The political carnival.
Yes.
is taking its toll on
The
you.
carny has worn me down.
What's the matter, Mike? What happened?
Everything. I can't.
You and Hillary are wobbling.
I don't even give a shit about Hillary.
The Trump carny.
The
has
Trump
worn you-
carny.
He's worn
yeah,
you
I'm
down?
not talking the whole carnival. That's a shit show. I'm talking about the carny,
Okay.
the ringmaster, and he is.
He's worn you down.
He is a ringmaster.
What does it mean by worn you down? Meaning you just don't want to talk about him anymore? Meaning you've succumbed to him?
I have succumbed.
What?
I have succumbed. I have succumbed.
What does that
And-
mean?
and I just,
You're
it
gonna-
means if he gets elected, great.
Great?
Great. What I want him to do
I'm rubbing
is
my
be,
ear here.
is be exposed to
Exposed?
the world.
He's already exposed.
No.
What don't you know?
No.
What surprises left?
I want the people that support him to understand what a fool he is. I want it to be so obvious, such an exposure of who he is, that they are embarrassed. I don't
They
think
are
that'll.
embarrassed for voting for him?
Yes,
no,
for supporting
I'm sorry,
him.
The tribe mentality is that station has left the.
I don't know.
That train has left the station.
Well, I think there's people that are embarrassed
About George W. Bush?
About W.
Yeah, and those are the same ones that are voting for Trump.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to, I'm just worn out. I honest to God, I'm fucking tired. And I'm tired of listening to it. I turn on the news, all the channels. I don't get anything. Do you realize that this last week that the largest hurricane or typhoon that's ever been recorded in the history of the world
Really? Ever?
hit China this year? Have you heard anything about it?
I heard it dissipated fairly quickly.
Well, it doesn't matter. It was a big one. I'm sure it created some good video footage, but have you seen any of it?
No.
No. What do we see? We see the Donald Jr. talk about firing up the gas ovens, and his daughter,
that.
Ivanka, talk about mothers getting time off for being pregnant.
Right.
But not dads, but mothers. And then when she's pushed, she goes, well, y'all are being real negative here. I don't think I'm going to spend any more time with you. And she stops the interview with Cosmo. And the media allows this to happen. They put themselves in the position of putting these idiots before a camera, before a microphone.
Well, the Trump's children, right?
I don't give a shit. An idiot's an idiot. They're allowing the spawn of the village idiot to somehow come on like they've got some sort of expertise. These are kids that grew up in privilege, and all of a sudden they've got some sort of expertise on something? No.
And I love this Trump initiative with moms staying home. And no Republican's going to vote for that.
I don't give a shit. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, I don't care. Communists, Socialists, whatever the fuck they are, I don't care. Anybody that supports this guy is an idiot. Whether they're deplorable or not, it's another story. You can be an idiot and not deplorable, and you can be deplorable and be intelligent.
Right. Deplorable isn't an intellectual thing.
No.
Stupid move on Clinton's part, don't you agree?
You know what the deplorable part was? Half his voters are deplorable. There is a segment of his voters that are deplorable. Line them out. The Ku Klux Klan, the American Nazi Party, the guy that jumps up in the stands, cold cocks somebody. These people and what they do and believe is deplorable. Yes.
Do you think that's a smart strategy that she did that?
I think she's
I got redneck moms wearing deplorable T-shirts.
I think she's a stupid fucking candidate. She is weak in compared to Trump. Trump will wipe he's going to clear the tables.
You think he is?
I think he'll clear the tables. The people that are his supporters are his supporters, and they're going to laugh at whatever he does. He could get up during the debate and fart, and they would laugh and say, "Oh, that's my man." They're not backing away for anything. They're in. They're going to march off the cliff with this guy.
What percentage of the population is that? 35%.
It doesn't matter.
So let's say it's 35%. He's got to get to 50.
No, not with the other two candidates. The other two candidates. And if they're able to continue to keep 10, 12% between the two of them, you know, people doing protest votes or voting because they believe that's fine too. But just understand that if you do those votes, this election's more important than that. If you do that vote and you wind up with Trump, you're part of the problem. You're not in the basket of deplorables, and you're not a village idiot. You're contributing to the dumbing down of America. Reality shows were bad enough. I mean, you saw him today. Okay, he releases. See, this is another thing that the media is doing this. They're allowing this to happen. He decides to release his medical report. So what does he do? He goes on Dr. Oz. It's brilliant what he's doing. Yeah. He's taking the fans and the audience that loves Dr. Oz for whatever fucking reason. I've never even watched him, but he's got a fan base, okay?
And he's
America's
doctor.
And he's America's. What does that mean? It means he's on TV, like Donald is.
Perfect marriage in the reality world.
And so they go there, and he turns to the audience and goes, "Well, I don't know. You think I should show it?" And the audience goes, "Yeah." It's like big-time wrestling. All of that reality show, it's all big-time. Big-time wrestling's where it started. Then you get all this other shit that goes into it. So he gets in there and says, "Oh, okay," and he pulls it out of his coat pocket. Like this whole thing was not a setup. Reality TV. A misuse of words. There's nothing real about that. What people don't see when they're watching people act on their little screen at home is they don't see where you're sitting in your chair, there's a whole crew of cameras and lights and people holding the microphones and best boys and grips and people running around with sandwiches and directors and producers and all that kind of stuff. And they're watching these people argue. Now, what's real about that? And when you and Suzanne have a disagreement, do you have a whole crew watch you? And do you think that you would react differently because of that?
Sure.
And if you were being paid to do that, don't you think you would amp it up to play it for the crowd back home? On the other hand, people are just sick of politics, and they're sick of institutions, and they don't trust any of it. And so they're willing to roll the dice and put some carny in there. And Clinton is part of the establishment. She has been she and her husband have been for 30 or 40 years. Nobody can argue that fact.
Right. No, she definitely is.
Would it be great to have a woman in there? Probably. Would she be my choice if they said, "Okay, Mike, what would your choice be? Would it be her? No. Would she be my second choice? No."
Well, let's talk about the two sides of Clinton, because we rarely talk about Clinton, because we talk about Trump. I have to be really careful in looking at Clinton, because I've been fed the Republican noise machine about Clinton. Okay, and the Republicans, one thing they do really, really well is disparage their opponent, whether it be Bill Clinton, whether it be Obama, whether it be Al Gore, whether it be John Kerry, whether it be Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton has been there since day one because she did the health care. Remember where this all stems from, the hatred of Hillary Clinton, because she led the health care back in the 80s.
Right.
She tried to get health care for Americans.
Right.
So let's get back to where this comes. This comes from a hatred of wanting to give health care to all Americans. And she wanted to go for a single-payer plan, if I recall.
Well, it was her, but they didn't want him either. They were doing everything they could to screw him around.
It doesn't
and he
matter
was
who
helping them.
Anybody.
He was helping them.
GOP has no problems making shit up. And they have no problems doing hearings making shit up. I think the Powell emails were very, it's really horrible when you think about it, that people are having their emails stolen and then played on air.
No.
Well, it is.
No.
Why is that not bad?
Your end-all, be-all technology is what allows that to happen.
I agree, but I'm saying the press could do more to stop that once it's being released. Anyway,
I want to have that out there.
But what's very indicative of that was Powell's conversations with Condoleezza Rice. Benghazi thing's total bullshit, and Condoleezza Rice says, agree completely. So here you got two Republican Secretary of States, saying this is total bullshit about their own party doing it, right? So that just gives you insight.
When their stuff is released, these people, Powell and Condoleezza Rice,
who are no friends of Clinton, are on the opposite side.
I haven't seen them show up on TV anywhere.
No, you're right. They haven't.
Now's when they need it. Not last time, not last month, last year. Now is when it's important.
But what I'm saying is, so when looking at Clinton, you have to really, it takes a disciplined ear, because you have to realize there's been a lot of bullshit.
I totally agree.
So there's the one side is the made-up story, but the thing is, a lot of their bullshit is stock. She's not trustworthy because of Benghazi. She's not right, all that kind of stuff. Personally, I think Clinton doesn't trust the Republicans, either scared or doesn't trust them. That whole email server thing was, I'm getting my own email. I'm not taking any chances. The Republicans will get into this shit because Republicans will try to get into this shit, and I want my own private thing. And she should have just said that and been.
I totally agree. And everybody's and there have been numerous people say that.
But she hasn't said that is the problem.
Well, because she doesn't.
She needed to say,
it.
"This is why she's like apologizing. What I did was wrong."
She doesn't get it.
She does, to a certain
extent. In trying to parse her words like that, she's kind of doing what Trump does, but Trump does it better.
Yes,
she's
a fairly private person.
What she is the way she acts, is the way all politicians have acted in the past when caught in the middle of something they shouldn't be doing, and everybody's tired of that. We see it now. You see it for what it is.
Right, but what's being tossed on to politicians like Clinton is this attitude of, you were doing this thing to fuck us over. But you were doing this thing to fuck us over comes from the GOP bubble machine.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. But that doesn't.
Yeah, but that still is affecting your view of Clinton, is it not?
No.
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 So what is your problem with Clinton?
I think she is part of the old school, and I think.
Right. So what does that mean?
I think that she isn't.
Do you think anyone running the presidency isn't hanging around with the 1%?
That's the way it has been up until Trump. Of all the 17 that were running on the Republican side, he's the only one that wasn't.
He is the 1%.
He's a 1%, but he wasn't a 1% in the politics.
Right.
He was involved in politics, but he was involved in the nasty side of politics, which is buying and selling politicians.
Right.
So he's familiar with buying and selling politicians. That's what he did
he's
with
a
what's-her-face
narcissistic
Bondi.
sociopath, corrupt business guy who will fuck you over at the first opportunity.
Absolutely.
And so I think part of America wants the guy to go fuck them over. They want to go fuck NATO over. Go fuck our allies over. Go fuck China over. Because we're tired of being fucked with.
If you're sick of your own government, doesn't it stand to reason that you're going to really be sick of NATO? Okay, here's a good question. Why do we keep spending money for having bases all over Europe and all over Japan?
That's what Trump's kind of saying, too. Right?
Well,
NATO needs to pony
he's
up.
He's not the first person that said that. Other people have said it, but they've never done anything about it. In other words, everybody's been lied to all these years. They've been strung along thinking that somebody was going to do it. Everybody keeps talking, including Trump. We're going to make change. This is change. We're going to change. How many times have you listened to presidential candidates on both sides promise change if they get in there? Everybody does.
Right. Yes. So it's Trump. But he's saying I'm more suited to give you change because I don't give a shit because I've already made my millions.
And honestly, he might. I can't believe I'm trying to make the case for him, but honestly, no. Listen to this. I think the real problem is not the president who's in the White House. The real problem is the Congress.
Right. I agree there, except when you have Trump as a president. He'll make change. I guarantee you Trump will make change.
I think
it's going to be horrific changes.
I think the people that are in Congress are every bit as much of feckless pussies as the other 16 that ran for the Republican, and he can con them and belittle them and force them to do stuff. That's what he does. That's what he does. That's the way he gets his way. He will bully.
You're trying to make the case if Trump is president, he'll be bullying the Republican Congress.
Yes, because that's what his people want.
Maybe even
that's the show. For him calling out Mitch McConnell, for him calling out Ryan, for him calling out McCain, for him calling all these people that he calls out. That's the show. That's his show.
Carny
that's the Trump show. That's
he
the Trump
calls
show.
people out.
He calls people out. That's the Trump show. He's not offering anything new. or anything concrete. He calls people out. And so when he says, I'm not releasing my tax returns, what he's basically saying, and the people are
Fuck you
hearing.
to the system.
Correct.
So he's a fuck you to the system.
Correct. And that's why he's not going to release his tax returns. Well, on top of it, it would expose him for the fraud that he is. And so what's happening now, the media is trying to expose him more for the fraud that he is, going after all his corporations and saying, look, this is where I've made my money. I've made my money dealing with oligarchs in Russia. I've made my money dealing with the, communist Chinese that I sit around and bitch. And you saw David Letterman catch him with, okay, here's your shirts. They're made in Vietnam, and here's your ties made in China. And what does he do? He's caught. He just kind of smiles and smirks and shrugs his shoulder. They don't care. For whatever fucking reason, they don't care. They do not see the hypocrisy that's there. They are that blind. And I'm talking about, I call them idiots because I don't know what else to call them. Honest to God, I really do not know what to call. And I know people that are voting for him, and I have no idea why they're blind to this bullshit.
They're not blind to the bullshit, but they want to blow the thing up. My sister is a Trump thing. She wants the system blown up. She hated Marco Rubio. He was just another politician. Okay, really didn't like Marco Rubio any more than they like Hillary Clinton. They just don't want that whole politician line. Bernie Sanders though was actually more appealing to them by his thing, but at least he was honest. And so there's a hunger out there for the bullshit to stop. Ironically, Trump is the biggest bullshitter of them all.
Yeah. They want the bullshit to stop, but yet they've hooked their wagon
to a sociopath.
I mean, his whole world is bullshit. Everything that he's done is bullshit.
Yeah, so maybe he's the perfect
he's
man
a bully.
for the job.
Well,
is what you're saying.
Maybe.
I'm not saying, folks.
I don't know.
I think it'd be a disaster for this country.
So is it really hard to believe that somebody like that would think that Putin is cool? No. Hell no, it's not. No, it's absolutely.
I think his biggest weakness is the fact that he's a narcissistic sociopath, so he could be manipulated. I don't think he's a stupid man. I've noticed what they mentioned it on Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, and it's true because I noticed this earlier. I don't know if his voice has changed. He's talking very softly now. This is the subtle appeal to the masses.
Jimmy Fallon had him on his show.
Right, he did.
He's using Jimmy Fallon the way he used Dr. Oz.
Yes.
And what did Jimmy Fallon do to make him kind of a kindly, junkle? He reached over and messed up his hair.
Yes.
So, and everybody laughed and made them.
Is that any different than Bill Clinton playing a saxophone on Arsenio Hall years ago?
No. But what they did is they
humanized
it, and basically what they're doing is they're putting a little more shine on the turd. Yeah. Jimmy's polishing the turd. He's using his reputation to polish the turd. Dr. Oz is allowing his reputation and his equity he's built in his show to polish the turd. He is a turd. An orange one, but he's a turd. And for whatever reason, they feel like they're going to get something out of it, too.
They get ratings out of it.
And that's more important than the possibility of that talking yam being president.
It's almost like there's this perfect storm happening, right? It's almost like the universe is conspiring to make Trump president. The Hillary thing, getting sick, and that was one of those weird moments where the fake bubble got real life connected. This fake bubble about Hillary's brain damage from the concussion, and she's,
The universe is always trying to maintain some sort of equilibrium, right?
Right.
Maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Going to overcorrect.
You're saying you're kind of wanting Trump, then aren't you in the box of idiots and the basket of deplorables?
No, I will not vote for that guy.
You won't?
No, fuck no.
Will you vote for Hillary?
Probably.
All right. Then you're still pure, Mike. You're still not part of the problem.
No matter who you vote for, you're getting dirt on.
I agree. These two candidates are not the best choices.
Yeah. There is a certain segment of our society that feels like they have not been listened to and their choices have not been tried.
We tried George W. Bush.
Now,
I'm sorry. That was the dumbing down of America. He was the idiot.
Well, evidently it didn't dumb down far enough.
I can't believe our memory is so bad. Do you not realize how bad it was when Bush left? 800,000 unemployed a month. The economy wrecked.
Yeah.
Iraq, over 1 million Iraqis killed, over 6,000 at the time Americans killed. Did they not remember that?
Well, yeah, that's why they don't want to talk about him anymore. They
They
voted
don't-
for
we
him.
don't even talk about that. Why doesn't even the Democrats say, hey, you want to go back to George W. Bush days? Because this is George W. Bush times 3,
Oh, it's way worse than that.
and maybe more. I do think after this, they should pass a law that says you can't run for president without releasing your tax return.
And a medical record. Well,
Even medical record, I'm less inclined, but
well, no,
tax return, you have to be able,
you have to
tax
submit to a physical at the Naval Hospital,
Yeah,
not your
right.
doctor. Naval Hospital, independent doctor. Do that, and then it's released. And really, I don't give a
return. I don't
shit.
give a shit either.
I don't care whether his dick works or not. I don't care.
So why
any
do
of
the
that.
medical records need to be part of the story? Because if he's going to be dying,
Because
I think
that's
the
something-
bottom line.
because
Is
that's
this
something-
man or woman has a disease that is going to, Steve Jobs kind of thing, where
Well,
they've got a little limited time to
it's
live.
like
That's all I need to know
Yeah.
on the medical thing.
Well,
Because-
there
but
are-
on the taxes, I want to know everything.
There was a lot of the population that didn't know FDR was in a wheelchair.
Yeah. We've come a long way from that. Or Kennedy had back issues, or
Yeah.
whatever disease
Yeah.
he had.
A lot of that stuff really doesn't matter.
Doesn't
It's-
matter to
no.
FDR.
But the tax returns do.
Absolutely.
Because
That's
when-
why that should be a law.
Because when you're saying you're going to make tax cuts, and when you're belittling people for not doing charitable contributions, or when you're raising money from friends and business associates to put in your foundation that you then donate in your name. In other words, it's just a pass through. It didn't come out of his wallet. It just went. It was out of somebody else's wallet into this foundation, which is a clearinghouse, and then he starts doling this money out like he's some benevolent guy. No. And so, see, when confronted with that kind of stuff, people don't want to. It's like my mom doesn't want to look at that.
Right. Did you see Keith Olbermann's piece, 15-minute piece, where he just basically listed everything about Trump? Have you seen that yet?
People that are following him, they don't care.
Right. No, I agree.
They are firmly behind him, and they don't care. There's not anything that guy can do at this point that would scare people away. He's not going to gain any people.
Right.
Well, he may. There may be
So
some
you
stuff.
could argue that Trump's really on it. It can only go up because he's got his floor. It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So this debate's
Yeah.
going to be coming up. Can he blow it in the debate?
Can he look presidential? I don't know.
Since the bar is so low for him, if Trump doesn't say anything cringeworthy in the debate, he kind of wins the debate, doesn't he?
We've taken the bar down that far. In other words, it's like saying if he can get up there on stage in front of a moderator and a bunch of people and not fart, he wins. Audible fart.
Yeah. Because remember Palin with Joe Biden, right? She said enough. She had enough training on the cards.
Yeah.
She didn't go, oh, Russia's over there kind of thing. As long
Yeah.
as she didn't do that, as long as she didn't do something batshit crazy, there's a tie.
Well, if you could keep her on script like that, but you can't. She went off script.
On the debate with Biden?
No, after the debates.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I
she's
agree.
all
But
over the place.
if you remember the debate, they were kind of even.
I try to forget it. You know.
So I'm saying the same thing with Trump. All he
Yeah.
has to do is not say something outrageous. And keep the low voice down, because now he's talking like this. He's very
concerned.
He's very quiet. He's very soft. He's softening his image by softening his voice. And I guarantee someone told him that to do that.
Yeah.
And he's doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So he talks like this now.
Yeah.
It's very. You look at him and you go, oh, well, he's not. He's reasonable.
Yeah, everybody keeps waiting for something that's going to make him different than what he is. He is who he is. And if it takes outside people to make him aware enough to change, briefly.
But it's like the Dr. Oz with the thing in the pocket. It's all stage crap.
Absolutely, it's all staged.
So
It's
him
all,
talking
everything's
softer now
staged.
is staged.
Yeah. Clinton's shit staged.
Yeah, that's true.
Her
Her problem is she doesn't speak enough real.
Huh?
She doesn't just. She's got too protective of the thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to go there.
Obama came out unplugged this week, which was
He did.
good. It was great. Starting to listen to him. I would love to listen to him. If she wins, it's going to be ironically because of him. If he spends enough time if he and Bernie spend enough time on the trail for her, it'll help.
I know. It was interesting after he came out. So the criticism of Obama, why isn't he doing his job as president? What's he doing out there campaigning? As if every other president didn't campaign for their successor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that shows that makes him nervous because he
Yeah.
went right at it. Are you kidding me about the working man? Because that's
Yeah.
really where you need to go at this point. There's a lot of working man Democrats that are moving over to Trump, especially on the men's side. He's trying to cleave that. Like,
Well, are there
you
enough
serious?
white men to push him over the finish line? Are there enough white men to
Yes.
push him over?
Here's why. Because you're going to get a bunch from the Democrat side before.
Yeah.
There weren't a bunch of Democratic guys going to Romney. And Romney was not getting the bricklayer in Ohio. Okay, Trump is.
They were
Ironic.
talking about Ohio and Iowa or something like that. I think it was Iowa. And they were talking about what percentage of the state is white.
Right.
I had no idea that the percentage was that high. It's
Oh, it's
like
high.
up in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like New Hampshire high. Yet they were talking about the people in Iowa being afraid of this 2% of the population that's black.
And they went for Obama both elections.
But they've been manipulated down where they're afraid of this 2% or the even smaller fraction probably that's Hispanic. I don't get this. I just don't get it.
You didn't get that Iowa was white?
I didn't know it was that white.
It's Midwest white, baby.
Yeah. Somebody's got to eat that white bread and macaroni and cheese and Jello molds, right?
That's right. A little picnic. Friendly folk. I get everything you're saying today about the appeal. I still just don't get it.
That's our title for this.
What?
I don't get it.
Yeah. I didn't realize that party affiliation or politics was stronger than religion. There's no way, if you're a religious person, that I could see you going for Trump.
I totally get it.
Glad you
If
do,
you're
'cause I don't get it.
In evangelical things, it's completely faith-based. They don't have empirical answers and stuff in front of them, but they have faith. And that's the same thing they're using to stick on Trump. He's using that as the glue. That's the glue.
What's the glue? His faith?
Faith. He's using their faith. He's somehow wiggling in and using the fact that these people are willing to have faith in him. What does he tell them to have faith in? I don't know.
I disagree. I think he's a Republican. He's our tribe. We're evangelicals. We go for the Republican. That's more important than their religion. It does the fact that this guy is morally bankrupt. There's nothing moral about Trump.
You know what you're missing? The fact that as a religious person,
They're a sinner. He's not saying, sin.
he's not anything, but he's
never
playing
admitted
one
it to
on
any.
TV.
No, he's not even playing it on TV.
But he is a sinner. They see that.
So is Clinton. Why don't they see the sinner in Clinton?
What do religious people want to do? They want to reform sinners, right?
Well, why not reform Clinton? She's a sinner.
Is she really to the same level that Trump is? They want to fix him.
They didn't vote for Jimmy Carter either. He was a Baptist preacher. Evangelicals put their religion off to the side if politics is stronger than religion.
What they're more interested in, the person that's running in the position that's a Republican, is how do they feel on abortion?
That's bottom line.
How do they feel?
Stop.
How
Well,
do
you
they
don't have to
feel?
say anything more than abortion.
Yeah.
Had that black guy
Yeah.
from Michigan, right? The black pastor.
Mm-hmm.
They had him on CNN or something like that. And they was going, well, how can you? And at the end of the day, it came down to abortion.
Well, and gay marriage.
No, just abortion.
Abortion?
It really is
Okay.
that. You're either if you're not with me on abortion, you're into murdering babies.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay. There.
But Trump, I don't even know if Trump's going to do. He don't give a shit about the abortion. But I guess they think if he does elect conservative judges, will get abortion overturned. That's the carrot they've been playing for 50 years.
So see, this is why I'm worn out. I'm worn out. We started talking about me worn out. Now I'm even more worn out. Just kind of rehashing all this shit over and over again, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out why people are doing what they're doing. I don't think it's possible.
I do think it's possible. I think tribe trumps everything. We did a show called Tribe Trumps Reality before.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe that's what
I
it
think
is.
it's that simple. The Republicans, on a subconscious level, they realized George Bush was a complete fuck-up mistake. So their answer is just blow it all up. Because they can't accept the Democrat side. They can't make the walk over to, or very few do, to Obama and that way of thinking is actually right and we're wrong. So they can't admit that their thinking is fucked up. So they want to blow the whole system up. Right? When I get on arguments with my family, it goes, when I get to the point where I've won the argument, winning the argument means they both do it.
That's when the blinds come
Right.
down.
But right before the blinds come down, it's like they both do it. They both do it.
Yeah. No,
okay?
yeah.
So, that's as far as they'll go. And I think George Bush made them go there. They both do it because he was such a fuck up. In other words, you want this magical thing where they're going to say, "Oh yes, I was wrong. I see the light.
Yeah.
I'm switching to the Democratic way of thinking of things." They're never going to go there. So what they do is, instead of being able to go there, they have to go to blow it all up. And Trump is the blow it all up candidate.
No, I think so. I
And
think
he'll blow it all
Bernie
up.
was talking about the same thing.
Right. But what they don't realize is that when it gets all blown up, how drastic their life could be affected by it.
Somebody's going to have to put it back together.
Yeah, and who's going to do that? Don't think that far ahead,
Well,
do
when it's get blown, somebody has to put it back together, and the people that put it back together are going to put it back together the way they want it put back together.
they? Well, you could argue it can't be put back together any more corrupt than it is now.
Oh.
Because the 1% run things pretty well.
I think it can be a lot more corrupt.
What would that look like?
Russia, China, North
So we have a
Korea.
dictator?
Yeah. Yeah,
Worse
it
than
could be
Trump
worse.
running the president of the United States?
Yeah.
The government's
I
already,
don't know.
you could argue the government's already bought and paid for by lobbyists in 1%.
Oh, I'm in that basket. I'm there. I don't get it.
We go round and round and round. But so anyway, that's to me is that brings this blow it all up situation. But there's the other side of things is there's a whole other way of looking at things, and things are moving forward. We're progressing, and there's a backlash to this progression. Gay marriage, political correctness of treating other people the right way, maternity leave, health care for everyone. That's creating a different society, Michael. And we're moving in that direction, and there's people that don't like that. So,
Well, they're wrong.
to me, there's two choices here. There's the blow it up with Trump,
Yeah.
or there's the move to continue to move America in a progressive way that's going to look like Europe, which, they freak out on that, which means having health care, having maternity leave, having a better quality of life, helping to stop people fall through the cracks.
You're giving people who aren't working something they don't deserve, Carl. You're taking my tax money to give it to somebody else that I don't want to help.
Okay, no, your tax money is going right now to big war machine. That's where your tax money is going to. It's about taking the tax money you've already spent and reallocating it in different ways.
Well, we don't want you reallocate it different ways.
Well, then you get what you got, which you're saying you want to blow it all up. So obviously on some level you're not that happy with it.
With what?
With the way the system is, or you want to blow it up. Because you want to blow it up. That's the two choices.
Yeah, global financial collapse. And that way we
Blow
can play
it all up, or
Yeah.
move to a more just, a more compassionate, and a more fair society. Those are your two choices.
Fair for who, though? See, that's what it gets down to. A person on the other side is go, who are you to determine what's fair for me?
The other 99, well, you're in the other 99%. Sorry, if Uncle Jones needs surgery, he's going to be taken care of.
I am totally for that.
I'm not saying that you're
Yeah.
against that. I'm
Yeah.
just talking to the people.
But-
you're saying who? Well, the other 99%, because the 99% are not getting treated fairly. And I'm not even talking about raising taxes. You can it's called reallocation of the resources that we have.
But then you have the lobbyists and the military-industrial complex.
That's the hard. You
that-
go back
that
to what
keeps
you said
from
earlier.
doing that.
The hardest part is Congress. The hardest
Yeah.
part on this is Congress, not
Yeah.
the president.
Absolutely frustrating.
Well, it's going to play itself out here in the next month.
Thank God.
6 weeks, Michael. 6 weeks.
Yeah. Please
Man.
put this sucker to bed.
You see, I have a different opinion on that. This is the bizarrest election of our lifetime.
I don't disagree with that at all. And
Yeah.
I hope we never, ever see anything like this again. I hope that lessons are learned. And I think they will be. But unfortunately, they're going to be the wrong ones. And so I think this will just continue.
So you say they elect Trump,
People are going to be studying what Trump did and how he manipulated the media.
and that's going to make
And-
other candidates more stronger.
Wouldn't you? Think about the money he saved. You bet your ass. You're going to do ways to manipulate. If you can manipulate the media the way he did, or yeah, he did this, but I think we can do this and it'd be even more. And they're going to keep doing that and tweaking it because I think the media is just as easy to manipulate as the general public. I want to think that they
the
were smarter
landscape
than that, but they're not.
The media landscape changes all the time, so it isn't just one side. They can make the adjustments, but people are making the adjustments
Well, I
too.
hope that they make the adjustments. I don't know.
I think you're right. They will study this only if he's elected. If he
No,
loses
they'll
in
study
if he
it
loses
no
in
matter
a Barry
what.
Goldwater type of thing. Well, yeah, I agree, but it won't have as much weight
Yeah.
if he loses big on this.
Yeah,
But right now, it's tightening. We'll see where we end up.
yeah.
All right, another episode in the can. Go to carlmike.net for the mighty fine show notes of all our episodes, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Out.